Today we're starting our AC journey by treating alternating current like what it really is: organized change. The voltage and current aren't steady, they move, and that means we need new ways to describe them and measure them. In this video, we'll build a simple wave vocabulary, then talk about why RMS is the number that actually matters for heating and power, and why tools like the oscilloscope are basically truth machines for AC. Direct current is like a steady push. Charge carriers drift in one direction around a loop. Alternating current is different. The push reverses direction over and over, and the charge motion becomes an oscillation. The key insight is that energy transfer does not require net flow in one direction. With AC, energy can move from source to load, even though the charge motion is back and forth, because the electric field is still doing work on charges in the resistor. Here's the superpower. Transformers only work when the magnetic field is changing. A steady direct current produces a mostly steady magnetic field, which does not continuously induce voltage in the secondary coil. Alternating current naturally creates a changing magnetic field, which makes voltage induction easy and efficient. And that means we can step voltage up for transmission and step it down for safe use. Quick historical note: this is a big reason AC became dominant for power distribution. Once transformers entered the game, long-distance transmission became dramatically more practical. Let's define two basic wave ideas. Period is how long it takes one full cycle to happen. Frequency is how many cycles happen each second. They are two ways to describe the same thing. If frequency goes up, period goes down. In typical North American power, 60 hertz means 60 cycles per second, which corresponds to a period of about 16.67 milliseconds per cycle. Now we take the same repeating behavior and let it travel through space. That distance version of one cycle is the wavelength. A higher frequency wave has a shorter wavelength if the propagation speed stays the same. That's why radio and sound examples are so useful. You can feel that pitch rises when frequency rises, and in radio, you can connect frequency to antenna size and signal behavior. Amplitude is the how tall part of the wave, how far the voltage swings. Two important terms: peak, the maximum instantaneous voltage; peak to peak, the full swing from the most negative point to the most positive point. Amplitude matters because it sets the instantaneous electrical push available to drive current through a load. Here's the headache with AC. If you simply average a perfect sine wave over a full cycle, the result is zero. Positives and negatives cancel out. But a resistor connected to AC still heats up, so we clearly need a better way to express how strong an AC voltage is. That's where RMS comes in. It's a value that represents the DC equivalent heating effect in a resistor. RMS is not a magical constant. It depends on the shape of the waveform. For a sine wave, RMS is about 0.707 times the peak. For a square wave, RMS equals the peak because it spends full time at maximum magnitude. For a triangle wave, RMS is lower because it spends less time near the extremes. So the takeaway is, waveform shape matters when you're trying to convert peak into real heating power. Even if you never write a line of code, the RMS logic is beautifully simple. 1. Square the samples so negative values count positively toward power. 2. Take the mean of those squared values over time. 3. Take the square root to return to voltage units. That's RMS, a measurement built to match physical reality, not just arithmetic convenience. Phase is not a thing a wave has by itself. Phase is a relationship between two waves. If one wave reaches its peak earlier, it is leading. If it reaches its peak later, it is lagging. This matters a lot in real systems, especially with inductors and capacitors, because phase affects how voltage and current relate in time, which is tied directly to how power flows in AC circuits. A meter gives you a number. An oscilloscope shows you the story. With a scope, you can see noise, spikes, distortion, and transients, things that can completely change what a circuit is doing, even if a basic meter reading looks fine. This is why scopes are so powerful for troubleshooting. They don't just tell you a value, they show you behavior over time. This is a clever, field-friendly circuit idea. Use a small transformer and headphones to detect signals you otherwise can't easily interpret. The transformer helps with impedance matching, making weak signals more listenable. The diodes act as protection clamps to keep voltage spikes from getting out of hand. The result is a simple detector that can help you identify things like clicks, hum, and other signal signatures that hint at what's happening in the circuit. Not all meters treat AC the same. Some analog meters are average responding, but calibrated to display RMS correctly, only for a clean sine wave. If you measure a non-sine waveform with that type of meter, you can get a seriously wrong answer. A true RMS meter actually computes RMS properly, so it stays accurate across many waveform shapes, which matters a lot in modern systems with drives, switching supplies, and chopped waveforms. This is where we turn concepts into instincts. If frequency increases, the waveform compresses horizontally because the period gets shorter. If you need antenna length, frequency connects to wavelength, and wavelength connects to physical dimensions. If you're sizing a heater or predicting heating, RMS is the right tool because it represents equivalent work in a resistor. This is the mindset shift. Observe, reason, verify. Let's land the plane. AC is defined by motion and change. RMS is a measure of equivalent work, not just a convenient average. Simulation and observation, especially with an oscilloscope, are two complementary ways to verify what's true. Thanks for watching, and a big thank you to Tony Kuphaldt and the open source community for the learning materials that make this kind of teaching possible. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next AC episode.